Good morning. Hi, Phil McPhail here with United Country Lifestyle Properties of Maine. Today I am in one of the coolest towns in northern Penobscot County, Mount Chase. And what I'm going to show you is 64.7 acres of surveyed forest land here, about 2.5 miles from Shimpon Village. This is a great area if you like the outdoors to recreate for ATV riding and snowmobiling. This is kind of a mecca. If you haven't heard about it, maybe you have, but trails leading in all directions, pretty well maintained, marked, places to eat, destinations to go to, beautiful views right outside of Baxter State Park. So come along with me. We're going to look at this land. We're going to tour the area, and I'll tell you all about Mount Chase, Maine. So we've arrived here at the intersection of Moose Brook Road and Ackley Pond Road, and this property actually fronts on both roads. So where are we in the world? Well, Mount Chase, Maine is in northern Penobscot County. This land is situated just west of Wadsworth Mountain and Mount Chase. Those are two smaller mountains in this area, considering Mount Katahdin is just southwest of us a little bit. Beautiful area. 2.5 miles from this property down to Shimpon Village. And Shimpon Village has got a couple of stores, a restaurant, a bar, 2 ponds there. We've got Lower and Upper Shimpon in that town, in that part of town. Beautiful area. We'll show you a little bit of that here. And the nearest larger town around would be Patton, Maine, and that's about 11 miles from this location. Patton's got a grocery store, a health clinic, hardware, building materials. A lot of people live there, and it's a cool little town as well. We'll show you a little bit of that. So we're located about 48 miles south, or actually almost due west of the town of Holton in southern Aroostook County. Bangor, Maine is about 100 miles south of us here, an hour and 41 minutes. And Boasting is about 335 miles, and that's about a 5-hour and 20 minute ride. So we are in the middle of the woods, folks. We're real close to a lot of things. Interstate is only about 18 miles from here. So you can get here. The last mile, 2 miles in is gravel road, but you got a public paved roads right to here. We're over here on the northern boundary of the 64.7 acres now. And if you're coming in here and you're not with me, I'll give you some landmarks because the roads aren't really marked with the names that we call them. But this is a corner post here right on the road. It says Macrillis. That's a former owner of the property years ago. And the post is here. And you're going to see some blazed orange boundary lines crossing the road here on the northern side. As we come down here, there's kind of a neat feature of this property. Could be quite valuable for you. But there's a little gravel pit right here. And that's where we're parked right now. And coming in here with a road maybe and getting up on the hill a little bit. Clear these trees down towards the road. And I know for a fact you're going to get a view of Mount Katahdin off to the southwest here. We'll put the drone up so you can see it. But this is a great spot right here. Potentially build up on this high point. Gravel pit was down here. I'm assuming there's still some material you could take out of here if you needed it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Katahdin right through there. We'll put the drone up and we'll know for sure. But what a spectacular spot this could be for a building site. There's others, but this would be my pick. We're still over here on the northern side of the land, and I want to talk about the elevations here. People often want to know what that's like. And this is a kind of a rolling piece of land. It's between 810 and 1120 feet above sea level up here. So we got a lot of elevation change. If you didn't mind building roads, this lot would actually be quite easy to divide. And you can't divide it for 5 years from the time you purchase it, but Moose Brook Road kind of divides the property naturally. You could use that as a boundary line and easily get the surveyor to update the description on that and sell that, give it to one of your kids, give it to some friends, whatever you want to do with it. But so the potential development of this property could happen over time. You can do it, like I said, for 5 years. You'd have to file for a subdivision plan with the state, and that probably would be more work than it's worth. But over time, you could break this up into smaller parcels if that's something you're interested in doing. Okay, folks, we're gonna head from the northern side of the property now, head south on Moose Brook Road, and get onto Ackley Pond Road, and we'll show you some of the frontage there. As you can see out the windshield, most of this property is hardwood forest. We've got maple, beech, birch. There's a little tiny bit of poplar. I haven't seen a lot of it. Nice hardwood stand. It has had a timber harvest a number of years ago, but it's growing back exceptionally well. Part of the reason for that is it's mostly Thorndike soils. Thorndike soils are actually farm soils in more level locations. You would, our potato farmers love that soil type. What else can we do around this area? Well, Baxter State Park, 209,000 acre state park, is just up the road. The north entrance, you have to the only way to get there is to drive through Mount Chase and into the unorganized townships. And you're going to find one of the most beautiful state parks I've seen anywhere in the world, in this country actually. But there's dozens of trout ponds in there, a couple of nice streams that are all crystal clear mountain runoff from Mount Katahdin. Maine's largest mountain is located there. Okay, we just turned on to the Ackley Pond Road, and these roads are ATV and snow sled trails, folks. So, you know, they're not great driving roads, but if you're a recreational trail rider, you're gonna love this area. If you're not, yeah, well, you can get off the road far enough, they won't bother you. And that's one of the other very interesting parts of this area, is how many trails there really are and access to all kinds of other recreational features. Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument is also right next door. That's about 87,000 acres of conserved land donated to the U.S. government and National Park Service as a national monument. There you find the East Branch of the Penobscot River, a whole bunch of mountains, and some beautiful waterfalls. We're over here on the eastern boundary now. This line is hard to find. I'll leave a flag here off the road where we found the boundary line. This is kind of typical what this lot looks like, folks. The crown closure here with the hardwoods in the summertime is almost 100%. We're going to walk up this hill, give you an idea what it looks like. Tell you trees we're seeing in here. The last harvest was probably 10 years, 5, 10 years, I'm thinking it was. I've sold other properties in here. This is growing back extremely thick, which is good. It's kind of what hardwood does. Starting to thin out a little bit now from the canopy choking out the stuff on the ground. But what we're seeing right here is some nice beech trees, some in here, some maples. Like I said, if you come up here and you want to walk this with me, be prepared for some thick forest. You're probably in another 5 or 10 years, you come in here and take out the remaining large hardwoods, and this young stuff come up a little better, flourish a little more with less competition with the bigger trees. Steady, this is a pretty steady incline right here. But if you could get up here, and I think you could, cost you some money, kind of sweep it up on this hillside. We got a little plateau above us, about another 20 feet. Another great spot you could get a view. There's mountains all around the area, so you're going to get views pretty much anywhere you open up some land. Probably a couple acres would do it. The North Maine Woods isn't far from here either, folks, and that's 3.5 million acres. If you're not familiar with it, we've had several of our older videos where we've shot properties that were located there, but it's an incredible resource for those who live up here, or if you're up here on vacation. You got a couple of different entrances not too far from here. One up Oxbow further north. You can get there through, come out the other end of Baxter State Park Road, bang a right, and you'll be right in the North Woods. Like I said, 3.5 million acres of working forest land open to the public. There's campsites in there you can rent for a reasonable amount of money. Day use driving fees once you get through the gates. Thousands of lakes and ponds in there. You can hunt, fish, hike, bird watch, watch for moose. It's one of the higher populations of moose are located in Maine or in the North Maine Woods. It's not unusual to see a dozen of them up there in a day's time if you know where you're going. Got to check that out while you're up here in Mount Chase, Maine. Yeah, the east branch of the Penobscot River is about 10 miles, 12 miles up the road. That's a beautiful body of water. Flows out of Grand Lake Matagamon before it reaches the main stem of the Penobscot down in the town of Medway and joins up with the west branch. But what a beautiful place. Grand Pitch is there. There's several other waterfalls, great landlocked salmon and brook trout fishing in that river. It is a very wilderness river. It's hard to get to it, but there are some roads that'll give you access to different parts of the river. We're over here now heading towards the southwest corner, parked just off the road here. We're gonna walk you down to this corner. This part of the land, some beautiful soil here. If you can see it here in the bank, how deep it is. There's where the road has been shaved out of here. There's 6 feet of topsoil in here. It's beautiful. It does roll down when you get down near the end of the hill. We're getting real close to Ackley Brook. Ackley Brook is right down the end of that road. Where that road turns right there, that's the brook. So we're within walking distance of a little trout brook here. And our corner is another big post like we found up on the northwest side. This has been here for many years. And as you can see, we kind of flagged it up so you can find it easier when you're driving in here. But it's right here. We're gonna go into the woods here and take a look around. We're just in here off the southwest corner, folks, and this road we're on is Moose Brook Road up above us here. And man, there's a huge moose track here. If we did some snooping around, we might find him today. I don't have time to go on a moose adventure, but needless to say, you spend any amount of time up here, you're gonna get to see moose. And I know a lot of people come to this part of Maine just for that. So they're here, and they're here recently. So we're over here in the southwest corner of the lot. We're walking along here, and this is kind of a flat section of this property right down here on the western boundary. We're kind of paralleling that right now. You know, it's kind of wet down here, still following that big moose track. But there's a natural incline right here. It steps up. Well, we can't even climb that. That's a rock face till it hits the topsoil, but we got a little outcropping. We're going to circle around that. But what I wanted to point out to you is if you're a hunter, what a great place for a stand. You know, these animals, you can see the trail we're on right here is beaten down with moose and deer tracks. And deer and moose are kind of like we are. They're not going to climb that if they don't need to. So they have literally, this is just beaten right into the ground with tracks. And we'll climb this hill here for you to give you an idea of why. There's some really nice big trees up here. Great place to hang a tree stand. And you're literally going to have to climb up this hill, folks. So up here on the top of the ridge now and looking down, it's almost 20 feet from the high ground right here, right about where you're standing down to that level ground. And like I said, there's a water source right over here with the brook. So pretty heavy game trail. Whether you like hunting them or watching them, this would be a good place for you to hang out. Now, I don't even think you need a tree stand. Just sit here in a lawn chair. You're already elevated above their main travel corridor here. We're gonna keep walking down, hook around, back out to where the pickup is, and then we'll wrap this video up with all the terms. Hey, before I wrap up the video, don't forget, like this video. If you do, share it with some friends and hit that subscription button down below. Put on all notifications. You won't miss any of our videos. So the property here in Mount Chase on 16 Moose Brook Road is listed at $93,500. We got 64.7 acres, all surveyed out. Beautiful soils in here. A lot of hardwood trees growing, some bigger ones in places, and a lot of young ones coming up on the understory. About 3,000 plus feet of frontage on the road system in here between Ackley Pond Road and Moose Brook Road. So your building site locations are almost unlimited here. You can pick almost anywhere you can get a soil test. You should be able to build. We got a little bit of gravel on the property already. ATV and snowmobile trail heaven up here. What else can I tell you? Great area, 2.5 miles to Shin Pond Village. If you've never seen this part of the state of Maine, it truly is one of the more scenic and beautiful places in the state, but it's pretty easy to get here. So come on up, give me a call, 800-286-6164. I'll show you around this beautiful piece of property.